There are a few things that I need NCOs, I'm looking at that team chief, to be able to do to set yourself up for success. Coming up. So we can also control our narrative by counseling our soldiers. You know, when I was an instructor at the Basic Leaders course, I started off WLC and then BLC in Hawaii years ago. And after giving an 8-hour block of instruction on counseling, all the soldiers who were in the class would look at me and be like, "What? Is that what's supposed to happen?" And I said, "Yeah, man." And at the end of the course, you know, everybody's all giving props for the course, for myself and the other instructors for doing a good job. And I'd look at it and I said, "Man, I appreciate that. However, comma, pause for dramatic effect." You have one of two options. You got one of two choices right now that's staring you in the face. You can go back to your units and you can control your narrative, right? You can develop systems to get after the things that you know that you need to get after. Or you can do what literally everybody else has done. Almost literally everybody else. And that's go back and let the grind us down. You see, because your squad leaders sat in your very chair, you know, just last year. And they all left pumped up and fired up and said that they're going to go back and they're going to change the world. I said, and your platoon sergeant sat in these very chairs just a couple years ago and said that they were all pumped up and they were going to go back and they were going to change the world. And your first sergeants, maybe 10 years ago, sat in these very chairs, left out of here all pumped up saying that they were going to change the world. What are we doing? What are you going to do? The one thing that you can do is control what's in your control, and that's counsel your soldiers. Do it deliberately. Do it intentionally. Develop a system that will enable you to do that. Right? That's what our Leaders Book is there for, is to help guide us in our path of teaching, coaching, and developing those who are in our charge. So counsel your soldiers. Be counseled by your senior. Ask what you need to do to improve your foxhole. Next on my list here is taking on hard jobs, right? Now, we don't often have a choice of being asked what we want to do in a career. Maybe when we re-enlist, right? And if you're a first-termer, you're probably going to get what you want. But other than that, you know, it's kind of go where they tell us to go, right? I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I know how it goes. But you can take on some hard jobs at your level through things like additional duties. These are a way to help set you up for success down the road. Make sure that you tackle one that maybe is a failing or an area of improvement in your organization. Look for something that nobody else wants to do and make it the best. Then during an inspection, when people come down and they start looking at your program and your narrative starts getting told a little bit louder, not by you, but through somebody else. And that's what it's all about, is telling the story, controlling your narrative, right? So take on a hard job. If you don't have an additional duty, man, you need one. So get one now. Go talk to the me in your organization. Go find your first sergeants and say, "Hey, Top, what can I do for the organization? What are we concerned about in the next 6 months? Let me sink my teeth into it and develop a system so I can control the narrative of what gets told about our organization." Man, if I had NCOs, and I do have NCOs like that, but if I got NCOs who will do that, man, I'm doing well. The last thing I'm gonna throw in your kit bag is that you need to find a way to get those who are in your charge to buy in to the organization. They need to buy into the team, right? They need to buy into the story. They need to buy into this narrative that you're trying to create some momentum for. They need to buy into the brand, right? They need to buy into the brand. This is something that I try to do, and I think I do a pretty well job of it. But I'll tell you, the success of it is that you need to have soldiers who enjoy working for you. You need to have soldiers who enjoy working for the organization. Soldiers who don't mind getting up and coming to work. The number one way that you can do that is to buy into it yourself. Don't be a hypocrite. If you're not motivated, man, nobody around you is going to be motivated. And now it is true, right? It is true that motivation comes from within. And I'm a 100% believer in that. Just because I'm having a bad day doesn't mean that you should be having a bad day. However, comma, another pause for dramatic effect, and I won't let it last that long. You know, you can't have an organization that's strong if you're not strong. Your team will never be strong if you, as the team chief, as that buck sergeant, is not strong. So you need to buy into the program first yourself. Buy into it, what you're trying to sell. You can't have somebody else drinking from a Kool-Aid if you're not drinking from it, because then it's poison, man, and people are going to look at it like it's poison. You need to take that cup of Kool-Aid and you need to drink deeply every single day. Buy into it yourself. Be motivated, and see if those who are in your charge don't buy into it as well. Be pumped up, man. You got to be stoked if you want other people to be stoked. And one of the ways that you can get them to get stoked is put them into schools. Listen to me. If you got, let's just say you have, let's just say you're a fire team leader, right? You only have, we'll just say you have 4 soldiers who are in your charge. 4 soldiers. If at any point in time you can't do without one of them for a period of time, we're doing something wrong. So find a school that you can get your soldiers into. Maybe it's a CLS class, right? Say, hey, Jones, next week you're going to CLS. The following week, hey, Smith, you're going to CLS. And the next week, hey, Lamatia, you're going to be going to CLS. And then you just keep rotating your soldiers through school. That way you always have a base of 3 who are there, ready to accomplish whatever mission, whether it's maintenance, whether it's any other training that you have to get done. But you always have one who's going out and then coming back. Think about all the things that you need to do to operate your team. CLS, combatives, make sure you guys all have driver's training that's complete and that they're validated to operate all of your pieces of equipment. Maybe it's field sanitation. Maybe it's a technical school for your MOS. Whatever it is, ComSec. All of these things, all these ins and outs, and there are lots of ins and outs. But get your dudes out there, get them certified. And then all of a sudden, you're controlling your narrative through how proficient your team is. And that's what it all comes down to. One of the byproducts of getting your soldiers to school is that they do get promotion points. And that's another story. But the real part of the story is your team has the credentials more than any other team to go out and accomplish the mission. So when your commander, when your first sergeant needs a team to go do something, we know who to call on because you've been out there grinding it, man. And we will keep this conversation rolling. If you do have any questions, comments, or concerns, man, leave them down in the comment section. I promise you, I will respond back to you, man, and we will keep this ball rolling because that's what it's all about. It's all about improving our fighting hole and our position, and you can't do that if you're just having a conversation with yourself. So whatever you leave down there, man, I'm going to get back to you. A lot of subscribers are probably going to get back to you as well. So I appreciate you all out there, man. You have a great freaking day. Until then, we'll see you.